or I can ask the guest on tonight to turn their cameras off until they're ready to speak in public comment for their item. That'd be helpful.
Thanks, Beth. So I believe the applicant and their attorney are on. So we just ask you to turn your cameras off until we call your item forward, and then it's your turn. And then obviously you're muted until you get an opportunity to speak as well, but we'll address that when we get to you guys. So Dominique, when you're ready, go ahead and send us live, and then we'll call the meeting to order.
All right, you are now live.
Hello, everybody. All right, we are going to call to order the January 26, 2022 meeting of the Planning Commission. Can we establish a quorum with a roll call vote, please, Dominique?
Commissioner Wynn, Commissioner Owens, Commissioner Evans,
Present.
Commissioner LaMica,
Present.
Vice Chair Dodson,
Present.
and Chair Silva.
Present.
You do have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, so the review of the agenda, this is the opportunity we have to add any items that might have come up. I don't have the language for it, but add any items if they are that need to come up for consideration. But are there any that have been brought to the attention of staff?
Chair Silva, no items have been brought to the staff's attention.
Okay, so we don't need to do anything on the review of agenda. We can move on to the public comment. Okay, so this is the opportunity for the public to comment on any item that is not scheduled for the agenda. So if your item is scheduled for the agenda, you'll have a chance later. But this is an opportunity for the public to comment on any other matter for a period of up to 3 minutes. Do we have anybody, Dominique, in the waiting room that might desire to comment?
Members of the public wishing to make public comment for items that are not on the agenda, please use the raise your hand feature or dial *9 if you're calling in from a phone. Chair, no members of the public have indicated they wish to make public comment.
Thank you, Dominique. All right, so we're going to move to the approval of the minutes from the January 12, 22 meeting. Did any of the commissioners have any comments or revisions to the minutes? Okay, I'd just like to note, I think, Beth, you said you were doing the minutes, or was it Dominique? Whoever's doing them, exceptional job, really thorough, really appreciate it. So can we entertain a motion to accept the minutes, please?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from January 12th, 2020 to 2022.
In a second? All right, do you need a roll call vote on this, please, Dominique?
Yes. Commissioner Evans,
Aye.
Commissioner LaMica,
Aye.
Vice Chair Dodson,
Aye.
and Chair Silva.
Aye.
Your motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to item number 6, business items. This is the use permit, UP 22-01, an architectural review, BAR 22-01 for Richard and Sharon Garner, property owners and applicants who are requesting a use permit and architectural review approval for the construction of an exterior stairway onto a 440 square foot balcony attached to the rear elevation of a 2-story home located at 1660 Sierra Avenue. All right, staff, take it away. Give us your presentation, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is Beth Rocha, Senior Planner, presenting this use permit and bar application for 1660 Sierra Avenue for you tonight. A little bit of background on the requirement of the use permit is for the exterior stairway, and then architectural review is required for all new second-story elements. Brief overview of the property. It is in the single-family zoning district. Lot size is around 6,700 square feet. Coverage is at around 30%. The footprint on the ground floor is about 1,600 square feet, but it is a 2-story home. One of the floors was converted to an ADU, and then the proposed deck is 440 square feet with a height of 12 foot 9 inches. So here's a location map showing Sierra Ave. It's a bit east of Meadowbrook Swim and Tennis Club on the far end of Kimball and off of Mescal. The nearest street to it is Mescal Court, which we'll see in a little bit more detail. Essentially, the grade goes up from Sierra to Mescal. Here's both the site plan and an aerial view with the balcony proposed deck highlighted in yellow, the site outlined in red on the right. And then I relabeled some of the dimensions that were on the plans just to make them legible on the site plan image on the left. So this dashed red line that you see is measured from the rear yard of the home, from the rear property line. This marks the 15-foot setback, as you see measured in the distance here. The deck projects 3 feet into that setback, and then this distance here was labeled at 12 feet. So from the outermost edge of the deck towards the rear property line, we have an observance of a 12-foot setback. An encroachment is allowed up to 6 feet, and the plans show that they're proposing to project 3 feet into the required rear yard as allowed by the code. So on the lower floor plan showing the bedrooms and the study as it abuts the outside and the area below the proposed deck. The new stairway is outlined in red on the right-hand image with the deck being wrapped around, again, serving off the bedrooms and the living room of the upper floor or the upper unit of this home that is kind of a split level now with a primary on one level and an ADU on the other. There's the elevations that were provided, showing you how the deck will appear, as well as the stairway taking off of the outside edge with the deck pressed against the home for access from those rooms that were outlined on the previous slide, and showing it wrapping around onto the side, essentially providing each of these now separate living spaces with a bit of outdoor area, as we might have seen required with a larger multifamily project. Outdoor open space is a requirement. I think this is their attempt to do that for the tenants of this building or the residents of this building. As far as the use permit goes, evidence is outlined in the staff report, but we'll overview some of those findings here. The deck is definitely in compliance with the maximum 6-foot projection, as outlined on the plans shown at 3 feet. The proposed deck and stairway are compatible with the uses in the single family zone. It's an accessory structure to a single family home. The lot definitely has room on the site where there's not going to be any issues with access, utilities, or other physical constraints to allow for the construction of a relatively smaller size deck in comparison to the square footage of the primary residence. And the finding that encapsulates all of this is that granting the permit would not be detrimental to the public interest, health, safety, convenience, or welfare for the property where it's being constructed in a single family zone. Same findings kind of apply to the bar findings as well, so I'm not going to go into speaking double on those, but it is staff's recommendation that the Planning Commission approve the exterior stairway addition and the deck, subject to the plans and the draft resolution provided in the packet. If there's any questions, I'm here to take them. I believe the applicant is also on the call, so when you allow for them to speak, if you want to provide them with a total time that they're allowed to speak, that would be preferred. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Beth. Why don't we start with commissioners, if you have any questions for staff, and then if staff is unable to answer those, obviously the applicant or their architect can provide any responses as well. Commissioner Evans, do you have any questions on the presentation?
Nothing from me.
Commissioner Lamica?
None.
How about you, Vice Chair Dodson?
None.
Okay, I have a question. I noticed it says that it's a reconstruction of the deck, but the site photos show that nothing is there currently. So Beth, can you elaborate on that? Was the deck that was there previously in the exact location as the deck that is now proposed? And was there any staircase on that deck at the time?
My understanding is that the original structure was a balcony off of the rear of the home. The expansion includes the stairway as well as the wrapping around of the deck onto the side of the home. But if the applicant needs to clarify that, they can feel free to do so during the public comment.
And then the other question then I have for you, Beth, and then this will obviously roll over to the applicant. Since there's 2 units now, is the entire second floor one unit and the entire first floor another unit, or is it blended somehow? Do you know any of the details on that?
I believe that's how they are divided. From the details I could zoom into on the floor plan provided, I do think that I approved this when it came through as the ADU, but I've approved about 50 of them. So my memory is not going to be too good on this project.
Okay, so then the other question would be, if the front door, for example, is the point of entry for the ground floor ADU, what is the point of entry for the second floor ADU? Or maybe I have that wrong. And again, that may be a question that defers to the owner. So what I guess where I'm scratching my head on is if there's an ADU on the second floor and there's no staircase currently, what's the point of egress and ingress to that unit? So that would just be my question there. And if you don't know that, then what we can do is open this up to the applicant.
Through the chair.
Let's open it up to the applicant.
Oh yeah, Commissioner
Sure.
Evans.
I just wanted to point out that in our packet, page 27, I don't think this was in Beth's presentation, but it does have color codes of the original deck, the new stairway, and the expanded deck. And I don't know if that kind of dovetails into your question or not, but thought I'd
Maybe I missed that. Let me look. 27.
It's the last page of so yeah, easy to miss. Very, very back.
Oh, it's site improvements. I see. Okay. Expanded deck. It shows the new stairway. Yeah, but it doesn't show what the point of entrance and stuff is. So, okay. Any other questions, commissioners?
Yeah, I have a question. So on the new portion that's being wrapped around on the other side, is that the part that will have access for the other residents there?
That's part of my question, because it doesn't look that way. It looks like it's just on the second floor, although it does look like at one end of that wraparound, it looks like the plans intend to change that from a window to a sliding door. So maybe that's something where the applicants can give us a little clarity. I understand that the ADU is completely allowed, but it seems as though the deck may also be there to accommodate the access. And so I'm just trying to understand the project better. So any other questions, commissioners?
Yeah, I have another question on that. There is a retaining wall behind, or just upslope from the original one, and it's going to be even closer now since they're expanding out. What is the distance between the extreme edge to the, I guess it would be to the, what would it be, south of the deck now and the beginning of that retaining wall?
Beth, is that something you know?
Sure. From the rear property line to the exterior of the deck, I believe is 12 feet. From the exterior of the deck to the beginning of the retaining wall, I believe is around 5.
Commissioner or Dodson, are you referring to the rear retaining wall or the side retaining
Yeah,
wall?
the rear retaining wall behind the rear deck.
Yeah, it looks like about 4 or 5 foot in that picture on the 26 of the packet.
Yeah, the only reason I asked that is if there were renters there, they had children, if that retaining wall was too close, it would be inviting for children to possibly go over the whatever's keeping them in the deck and trying to jump to the other side. I know I would have as a kid.
All right. Well, what? And I see that the retaining wall goes up. I was thinking it was going down, but the photograph show goes up, and it is close. Any other questions? Shall we open this up to the applicant? All right. So, Dominique, if you can open this up to the applicant. What do we give the applicants usually? What, 5 minutes of time for a presentation? Just as a courtesy to keep a little bit of a limit on it. Is that right? Is it 5 minutes for applicants and then 3 minutes for public comment, or is it longer?
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. I remember correctly. All right, let's invite the applicants up then.
Okay. If the applicant could identify yourselves by using the raise your hand feature. Okay, applicant, you now have the floor to address the Planning Commission.
And applicants, you can turn your cameras back on now that we want to be able to see you as you share with us.
Yeah, I think it's coming.
Yes, test 1, 2.
We can hear you just fine. And I believe
Okay.
we have an applicant and your designer as well, perhaps.
Correct. Yeah, I think they're both under the name Nick for some reason, but and I'm not
We hear you
sure.
fine, but we do not see your images at this time.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not sure how to get in with the camera.
There should be a little video symbol on your screen that is either clicked on and off, just like the mute is clicked on and off.
I've enabled it for them. They should be able to do that now.
Well, if you're not able to do it, it's quite all right. And we can, okay, we've got one person now. Perfect.
Yeah,
Picture.
hi. This is the real Nick. Looks like there's 3 of me, but we all shared the same link, I think. So, but
Okay.
I'm the designer on the project, the owners, and his wife. I saw is on there. As soon as they reconnect, it looks like they can explain some more. But just to answer some of your questions, that projection or that distance, I should say, from the existing retaining wall to the new balcony or deck is 2'11". And so we just wanted to keep our footings away from that existing retaining wall and not, affect the structure of that existing retaining wall. Hopefully that answers your question. The ingress and egress of the building, it is split in 2 different levels vertically. So the upper level is consistent with the top portion. There's no interior connection between the upper level and the lower level. The access is from the front of the building. There's a front door that you can access the upper level. And currently the second level, the ADU on the lower portion is accessible from the side there on the ground floor, which will now be under the new deck.
That's helpful. Thank you. Were there other questions that we had for them? Feel free. The owners are now on. We can see your video. Thank you. And if you unmute yourselves and you have anything to share, like you said, we had 5 minutes for you guys to speak and talk about the project and answer any questions that we might have. We'll give you 5 minutes once you figure out the unmute function. So we're not clocking you guys while we can't hear you.
If you hold the space bar, you can.
There we go.
There you go.
Perfect. We can hear you now.
Okay. You had a question about the entryway to the lower unit. And currently it is accessible by the 2 sliding glass doors at the rear of the property underneath where the old deck was. And it has the side entrance, which has always been used as their main entrance. We are in our second permit that you just received a few days ago, are proposing a new entryway into that unit from the front of the house. There's going to be a New York entryway where we'll have 2 doors. When you come in the main entryway door, there'll be 2 more doors, and one will be the lower unit entryway straight in, and then you go to the left, go up the stairs to go into the upstairs unit. So there'll be 2 separate doors there as well. So they'll have 4 different ways to get in and out of the lower unit. Well, the upstairs only had 1 way in and 1 way out all this time. There's been no safety egress for the upstairs people to escape in case the front of the house was on fire. They had jump out windows in the back. And I wanted a way to get down from the upstairs to the lower back of the house. And that's where the stairway in the back really comes in handy. And then having access to the side of the house going all the way back and then around for that side, they can get out that sliding glass door that's on that side that we're adding. So there'll be a lot of ways that people could get out of that building if there was a fire.
And I think there was also an issue about the previous deck, if there was one. There was one, but apparently we were told it was permitted. Apparently it was not. And so that was, and it was unsafe, I think.
Very unsafe and it was not up to code in any way.
So we took it down. We wanted to take it down. We were told that we didn't need a permit, and we have now gotten rid of the person who was originally telling us this stuff, and we brought in a different contractor, and now we're working with Nick. And so we are now up to speed on the appropriate ways to handle this.
Got it. Thank you for that. Commissioners, do we have any questions for the owners or their designer while they are unmuted and we have an opportunity to ask them? Okay, looks like we don't. You answered the questions I know I had, and I think the others did as well. If there's anything else you want to share about it now, this would be the time for it. Otherwise, we'll take it back to the commissioners for our final deliberation.
Yeah, we plan to rent out the lower half to a single family with a small family
or a couple long term.
For long term, and then we're going to be using the upstairs for our second home at this point. But eventually, we plan to retire to this house. So
we would like to be a part of this community,
yeah.
And actually, it's a very nice community. The neighbors are wonderful, and we love the area, and I love the beach. I think my hubby does too. So we're actually excited about joining this community. My husband is involved in, not that it matters, but he's been a long-term
volunteer firefighter here with Madera County the last 20 years.
And also he has owned a bike shop since 1972, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. So we're still kind of semi-retiring at this point, but in any case, that's just a little bit about us.
Well, thank you very much. All right, well, we are going to close this portion of it. Right. And what we're going to do is we're going to open it for public comment. If there are any other people in the audience that want to comment on this, is when they have an opportunity for 3 minutes of public comment. And just so the applicants know, it's not an opportunity for you to respond to them or anything. If we were to have other questions, we'll invite you back up. But this is a public comment. If anybody in the community has anything, Beth, do you want to, or Dominic, do you want to invite that if there's anybody who wants to raise their hand?
Members of the public wishing to make public comment on this item, please use the raise your hand feature or dial *9 if you're calling in from a phone. Chair, no members of the public have indicated they wish to make public comment on this item.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to bring this back to the commissioners then. Any further comments amongst the commissioners, gentlemen?
None for me.
Keith?
No, I'd just like to say that, since everything is going to be rebuilt completely to code, any concerns I had about potential safety issues with that back fence or have been addressed.
Well, and I was going to add that, it's not the purview of this board to have an opinion on the ADUs. The state law allows ADUs. I own an ADU myself, but we've gone through recently our ADU guidelines, and we've made our recommendations to the city council, and some of the concerns are where there's ADUs on lots that are really too small for them. And this is the kind of environment. It still looks like a single family home. There's plenty of room for it. This is a great opportunity for an ADU. So I don't have any issues there. My main concern initially was if the front door was only for the ground floor, how are we getting in and out of the second floor ADU? And in fact, what has been answered for me was the safety concern. In fact, they've gone over and above what's required by providing a secondary route of access. So, and we've looked at variances on the deck encroachments and stuff before, and so I can see why staff was willing to obviously recommend this. So, do we have? Do we want to entertain a motion, guys?
Sure. Oh, go for it, Ollie. No?
Was it Keith or
Yeah,
who was stepping up?
Ollie had his hand up.
Yeah, I got my hand up. I to approve the use permit of 22-01 and architectural review bar 2201. Richard and Sharon Gardner, property owners and applicants are requesting use permit and architectural review approval for the construction of an exterior stairway onto a 440 square foot balcony attached to the rear elevation of a two-story single-family dwelling located at 1660 Sierra Avenue in the RS8 single-family residential zoning district.
Second.
All right. So let's go to a roll call for approval.
Commissioner Evans,
Aye.
Commissioner Lamica,
Aye.
Vice Chair Dodson.
Aye.
And Chair Silva.
Aye.
Your motion passes unanimously.
All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations, folks. So with the approval, there is a 7-day appeal period. If somebody wishes to make an appeal, they'll go to the city of Seaside and pay the fee and file the paperwork for an appeal. Other than that, we can move on to our next item, which is reports from the commissioners.
So we out.
So you folks are all done. Thank you for being here.
Thank
Commissioners.
you for working with us. We appreciate
Okay.
it.
All right. Any reports from the commissioners? No
Nothing from
reports.
me.
How about staff? Reports from staff? Item number 8. Beth, anything from you?
None from me, but I do see Assistant City Manager Trevin Barber on the call, so we can open it up to him to see if he has anything to add to this section. Trevin?
Thank you, Senior Planner Rocha. Hi, this is Trevin. No, nothing to add. Just FYI though, since we do have the opportunity, we have opened up the process for cannabis licenses. And so in this instance, this way that we're doing it, the way that council adopted the procedures, is that the license will be separate from the CUP. So just to give the commission a little heads up about that, the license will happen completely independently separate. And then whoever is awarded the license will then come back for the CUP to the Planning Commission. So that will probably happen in April, depending on the applicant's timeline. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Well, this was an easy one, guys. I think we're ready for adjournment. Do you need a roll call on this, Dominique? We just need a motion and a second, and we can move on.
That's right.
All right. Somebody want to move for our adjournment?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second, please?
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I think we got a unanimous one there, Dominic.